G'day guys, it's MiracleMAX. It's good to see you. A customer has bought in a Ryobi whippersnipper, line trimmer or a weed whacker, depends on where you're from. They're complaining that the head is not rotating fast enough. So let's have a look at it, see if we can fix it. When trying to diagnose faults, it's really important that we reproduce the customer's complaints. So we'll get this thing up and running firstly and see what it's actually doing as opposed to what I've been told it's doing. So to start the beast, we put it in the on position. We prime it 10 times according to the instructions with our little bulb around the back here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We put it on choke. And we hold the throttle down full and give it a yank. Okay, that started. Hang on a sec. It should run longer than that, shouldn't it? So it'll idle okay, but and they're saying that this doesn't turn fast enough. So what's the problem? Is it the fact that the head isn't turning quick enough, this fella up here, or is it the fact that the engine is not going quick enough to drive the shaft, which in turn turns the head? We'll have to look a little bit further, won't we? Don't know about you, but to me it sounded like it was struggling for either air or fuel, or I've been caught before when it's trying to push it out the exhaust and the exhaust is blocked. So don't get too complex, start with the basics, that's the important thing. What should we look at first? Why not the air filter? The air filter is a good place to start simply because it's easy to get off. We just push down on this little fella here, get the muscles working there, Max, pop that off. Ooh, hello. What do you see there, guys? That's oil. What the hell's oil doing in there? Oh, dude, check this out. Nice, a bit squidgy. Okay, now when we clean an air filter, we do put a light drop of oil through it, but hey, that doesn't look right. What do you reckon the problem is there? Well, I have my suspicions, but I'd like to look a little bit further. Notice how red it is too, can you see that? Well, I guess at this point it wouldn't be too hard just to start the thing without the cover on it. Maybe it's just a dirty air filter. Let's check it out. Okay, maybe not. We'll just try that again. Did you notice what was coming out this direction here? Heaps of smoke. You've seen other videos that I've done before where people have done incorrect fueling, haven't they? They've put the wrong fuel in a vehicle or appliance or whatever the case is. Look, I think that's the problem here. Lining up with the amount of oil that we have coughing back through the carb, you hear the amount of smoke billowing out the back there. What else could we do to check and see what it's running like? Well, the heart of the operation is the spark plug, so let's pop that out and have a look at that. So I've just pulled the back cover off here to make access to the spark plug a little bit easier. It's a little bit difficult to get to. Just keep in mind that these are a 2-stroke whippersnipper, and this particular style has oil in with the fuel. Some have a separate tank, but in this case the oil is mixed in with the fuel. But have a look at this, hey, out of the exhaust pipe, man, check it out. There's just oil everywhere. I feel fairly confident that it is an incorrect mix of the fuel, but let's not assume. Let's check it out. Let's get that spark plug out and see what it's like. What should it be? Well, what do you expect it to be like? Well, most likely quite oily. And as we pull it out, what do we see? Pretty oily. It looks like it's in reasonable condition, of course, but miles too oily. Therefore, it's going to make it harder to run. Okay, so the mix itself is most likely wrong. So I need to replace the fuel in here. I need to clean my spark plug. I need to clean my air filter and get rid of all that oil that's in there. That's not doing anyone any good, is it? And also, I might even consider giving that muffler a bit of a clean out, because no doubt that's full of oil in there. That's not doing anyone any good either. So let's get to work. Let's give it a good clean out and see what happens when we put in the correct fuel. Okay, so I've just drained the fuel tank, and this is the fuel that I got out of it. Now, if you have a look at it, it's certainly nothing like that red oil, oily fuel that we got out of the air cleaner. Now, I'm just wondering if someone has actually put the wrong fuel in and then just dump some of this stuff in afterwards, hoping that it would be okay. In actual fact, I'm not sure that it's two-stroke at all. It feels like just straight unleaded, you know, so it just gets a little more complex here, guys. I've cleaned my air filter assembly out with just in fuel, and now I'm going to put in just a slight couple of drops of very light oil, and that helps to capture the dust. And here's that grotty looking spark plug. I'm just going to hit it with a bit of the homebrew, a bit of the carby cleaner there, and hopefully that'll get rid of all that muck and make it usable once again. And I'll blow it off with some compressed air shortly. That little fella, that's enough. While it's not totally perfect, it's certainly better than it was, isn't it? Got rid of all that oily substance that was on there. My plan was to remove the muffler assembly to try and get out some of the carbon and stuff that's obviously built up inside, but man, these bolts are tight and I don't want to break them off in an aluminium head, that's for sure. So I've cleaned it out as best as I can. Hopefully when we get the new fuel through, that will help bleed off or burn off some of the carbon that's accumulated in there. Got my spark plug back in place, new fuel, and hopefully she should be honky-dory. On all two strokes there should be some indication of the mix of fuel that you should be putting into the little tank there. In this particular case it says it's a 50-to-1 mix, which really isn't much at all. It says there for a 5-litre petrol tank we need to put in 100 mils, and that'll bring us up to 50-to-1. If you have a 1-litre tank you can mix it with 20 mil, and that will also bring it up to 50-to-1. Somehow I don't think this was mixed properly. This is my two-stroke oil that I use, and as you can see I've got two-stroke written on it. I've also got on the side there, it's a 5-litre container, and notice what I've written on it. I've written 100 ml of oil. So this, in this particular case, is 50-to-1 as well, which is a good sort of mix for pretty much everything, to get it up and running at least. Okay, so she's had a bit of the special MiracleMAX homebrew made up for it. Look, it's not going to run perfect to start with. It may take some time before it clears out all that horrible fuel before we get it up and running, but yeah, let's give it a whirl. Ignition on. Let's prime that sucker. Choke's in the on position. Alrighty, so that sounds pretty good. Hey, I'm going to do some more adjustments on it tomorrow. It's getting pretty dark, don't want to annoy the neighbours either. But clearly that was our fault, wasn't it? It's revving out okay. Idle's a little bit high, so I'll tidy that up tomorrow. But yeah, misfueling yet again. Psst, want to know a secret? The customer told me that every time her son went to mow the lawn, she would remind him to make sure that there was enough oil in with the fuel. So instead of making up a separate mix, all he would do is add oil to the fuel. Of course, therefore making it excessively oily and not running properly. Well, there's your problem, lady. So once the correct fuel is put into place, she's all honky-dory. Look guys, I can't stress enough the importance of using correct fuel in the correct appliance, I guess you could say. Whether it's a diesel vehicle, whether it's a ride-on mower, or whether it's a, hey, whippersnipper. This fuel here is wrong, okay? It's written on the whippersnipper what needs to be put in, 50-1 in this particular case, so follow along with what the manufacturer says. They know what should go in there. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video this time. Another repair, just a basic one, but hopefully it's been interesting for you. If you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like and comment down below. Don't forget that notification bell so you don't miss any videos in future. So until next time, this is MiracleMAX signing off. I will catch you later.